Hello then, welcome to another one. I trust I find you in good spirits. My name is Tatenda, back with another one. I'm with a white man and it's exciting. You know when you've got a white man next to you and you're not interviewing the white man because the white man is going to speak for himself. Hey, but how you doing?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I rushed you there.
You did. I wasn't ready. I was actually looking at the camera going, is he going to talk to me now? Okay, so it's my time. It's my time to shine.
Yeah, it's your time to shine. How's it, bro?
No, good, dude. Carrying on. It's been a minute since I've seen you.
It's been a minute, but the last time I saw you, you were even single. I was married when I got to run the cricket club.
I think I was in a relationship with Kaylee. Yeah, we were dating.
Already dating.
Kaylee.
Yes.
Kaylee. Yeah, we were dating. I think only for about a year.
Yeah.
When I started there, I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
We never. You know, as us gents, we never know these dates, but
no.
I think women at this point have to just agree that I'm never gonna know the exact dates that we met and the anniversary.
But we still love you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, the love's still there.
Yeah.
The memory's not, but the love's there.
Exactly. That's why they always say, babes, from the last time that I said I do, it's still the same. If it changes, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated.
Exactly.
I'll keep you updated.
But yeah, it's been a minute, but
yeah.
What have you been up to?
Well, since I saw you, I mean, a lot's changed.
Yeah.
Obviously, we met on the cricket field.
And you're married now.
Everything we met on the cricket field, and I think a lot of the people that I met and have sort of kept in contact with, whether it's social media, a lot of the people that I wanted to stay close with. When I was still at Randburg, things change and people's lives and directions change. So I didn't get to stay close with as many people as I wanted to, but you try and stay involved. You try keep up to date. Facebook
it's tough,
it is. I mean, you try use Facebook and WhatsApp for the birthday message, but so much has changed for me. I mean, I think when I started at Randburg, I had the desire to say I want to play cricket and try and excel in cricket, and whether it's not playing, but have a career in it. I think mentally a lot's changed. Obviously, you meet a person and, your goals become goals together and things like that. So I think that's changed a bit.
Yeah.
But the passion, I think, is still there. Not necessarily to play. And I think that's what changed the most.
Just to be involved in the game.
And see, I mean, I look at now, I mean, some of the kids that we were playing cricket with when I started, they were youngsters. They were coming into Saturday fives and Sunday threes, and you're like, sure, I don't know if this kid's got it. And now they're representing
I always say that I feel so old when you hear the mom says, happy 21st birthday. It's like, this kid is 21 already. Like, come on, what happened to time?
I mean, there's a couple of the guys that I still see playing action cricket because, I mean, that's the one thing that has probably stayed stable with me. I mean, these youngsters are now Prem players.
Yeah.
They're playing Prem, and not just playing Prem, they're performing. They're scoring runs. I mean, it's crazy to think. These were kids that we were like, I don't know if there's a career for you.
And now they're banging runs.
And they're scoring runs, they're taking wickets, they're going overseas, and you there, you're like, oh, what's up? How you doing?
It's good. But then I always say, just because I don't speak to you doesn't mean that I hate you.
No.
Yes, things change. We shift or we drift because maybe we've created families and visions change and all that.
Yeah.
But if you call me at midnight, I'll be there for you.
Yeah,
anytime, you understand?
Yeah.
So just because people are not in touch, yes, Facebook, we're always saying that, oh, he's still alive. Great.
Yeah.
He's doing good. That's amazing. So I always say, just because I don't speak to you every day, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not into your life.
No, for sure.
The fact that we're still friends on Facebook, that is a big as well. So awesome stuff. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. The reason why we come to you every Sunday 9 o'clock is to ensure that you're the best possible version of yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. If you want to sponsor the channel, the banner down below is there for you to sponsor the video. We've got best mini removals for anyone that wants to move in and around Joburg. You want to move offices, move houses, from apartment to the next. They've got the best things for you. Go to www.bestminiremovals.co.za, or alternatively, the banner down below has got all the information, the phone call and whatnot. Call Mr. Norman Abraham. He's going to be there to help you. And I always say, when it comes to moving, that stuff needs to be added onto your CV because it takes guts, it takes balls, it takes everything out of you. Imagine having to think, where is that spoon? Where is the box with the clothes? Where is the box with that? Let them do it for you. They're the professionals. Anyway, let's jump back into the video. Mate, Rudi Parry, by the way, I never introduced him. He's not even introducing himself. And I'm guessing you're wondering, who's this man, honestly? Let's just start right there. Who's Rudi?
I think first and foremost, Rudi is a father now. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a son of 2 loving parents. He's a brother to a really amazing sister. So I think he's a family man with a lot of goals, and I would say a person that wants to live a career that tries and aligns itself with my passion. But obviously, I think as a father, you'll know it's providing first.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost is to, I want to say that I'm a good provider. And I think that's something that can never, ever be something that stays the same. You want to always provide more. So I think that's where Rudi wants to be. Right now, I'm in a good place. Wow. Rudi's in a good place.
Wow. Wow. I love what you say. The first things first, when you're asked, I think if I had asked you this 10 years ago, you were never going to say Rudi is a father because you were not even planning to have a kid. But then there's something that changes in a man when they have a kid. Did you feel that? Because I still remember the first time that I had my son, 29th of Jan. I even have his tattoo here. But even when I get a jersey number, whatever, for cricket, whatever, it's still 29 because that's the day that I had the child. What changed in you when you became a father? You
say that about your shirt change. Yeah. I've always been a firm believer, and I've been a bit like Neil McKenzie in cricket. You be a bit superstitious, and the numbers got to be the same. You join a team or whatever, and you say, I want number 14 because that's my number. And they're like, no, the number's taken. Immediately my mind's like, okay, well, this is going to be a terrible season. It's going to be a bad game. I
don't have my number.
And yet the first opportunity actually came up for me to change my shirt number just before I went to Dubai to play in the World Series the World Club Series for action cricket.
Yeah.
And 14 was taken. But going into it, I actually had no intention of taking that number.
Okay.
I said I was going to take 19 because it was my daughter's birthday.
Wow.
So I was like, and you know what the thing was is that every shirt, I've had 3 different shirts since the World Series because I've joined 2 new teams and the Super League and the sides, and 19 is now the number.
Wow.
It's changed.
Wow.
It's changed.
It's changed.
And the runs are there. The game is decent, so it's not the number.
It's
not
exactly,
the number.
Exactly. Amazing, man. But things change, and I understand that a lot of times when we make decisions, especially when you become a father, every decision is centered around your children. Every decision has to be centered around your family, because if someone calls you and say, Rudi, let's go out partying at 10 p.m., you're like,
it's not happening.
10.
It's not happening.
10 p.m. Like, no, it's not happening. Why are you even asking me that? So different responsibilities, different seasons of your life, but with fatherhood or being a family man, what has changed for you 10 years ago and now? But for me, a lot has changed.
I think the biggest thing that's changed is, like you said, it's your first priority. It's the first thing that comes to mind when you're thinking about any decision that has to come up or someone wants to ask you. Your first, when you just get married and there's no children involved, it's, let's speak to the wife to see, are we free?
Yes.
And you're free, but you've got to run it by the wife, just to make sure that you're not in trouble. So I think once you have that child, or once you even start thinking about children, and then when that little one arrives, it's just a change. You're just like, okay, how is this decision going to affect her? And it almost seems sad, because your first thought when you're in the relationship or getting married, engaged, is how's it going to affect my spouse?
My spouse.
Now it's how's it going to affect my child?
Exactly.
And then generally, what's cool is that your likes with your wife align, and your decisions align.
There's a common denominator.
And we both go, how's it going to affect Dakota? Because at the end of the day, you go, if Dakota's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect her negatively, or we can make a plan, and that those things can happen, and it aligns with her sleeping, or her she's got this on, or we've got to take her for her gymnastics, whatever it is, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest change. I mean, 10 years from now, you told me, Rudy, let's go. We're going to the
Yeah,
club.
sure.
Okay, I've got club cricket on Saturday. That starts at 1, so we can go out on Friday night.
I'll come back.
I'll be back,
sleep.
or I'll be fresh enough for the start of game.
Yeah.
In between the innings, I'm gonna have a nap. And then on Sunday, we can't go too late because fines are probably going to start at 6.
Exactly.
We're going to finish it around 9. I've still got to go home, sleep, get back. Hopefully the whites are clean. I've got a second set of whites.
Exactly.
So I think that's the biggest change is we call it growing up, or you can call it maturing, you can call it becoming a parent. But I think it's like you said, it's, where does your honest feel, or wherever your decision make, whatever that is, I think it's first and foremost your child.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest thing we understand as parents, and you will go through, and no one will understand it until they've hit parenthood.
Yes. Yeah.
Once parenthood hits, you grow up. You grow up.
It's funny that on where was it, on Tuesday, they were asking for availabilities to play cricket on Saturday. For Saturday ones. So I'm like to my wife, babe, is it okay if I play? And she's like, if you're okay, yes, you may. So I was like, okay, thumbs up. I'm going to play. And it still comes back like you're saying, that every decision you have to go back and ask, are we free?
But the worst thing is, it actually happened this week, because I just remembered, you remind me, I'm also playing a T20 on Saturday.
Okay.
So there was a message on one of the groups. So I'm the head of sports at a school, and one of the parents found out that I played club cricket, and he sort of followed when I was still playing at school, and then asked me, are you still playing club? I said, no, I stopped that. Sort of COVID hits, and it kind of stopped everything. And then he said, well, we've got a LMS T20 side.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. And played for a bit, and 1 or 2 seasons, having played LMS for a long period of time, I was scoring runs there. Because it was really easy.
Because it's 8 players.
8 players.
8 fielders.
I mean, generally the keepers can't catch and the bowler's not doing anything, so you just sort of go for it.
Over it.
So I played that, and now I think it's like every weekend now. Really,
nice. Okay.
Can you play? Please, can you play? And then, you go, no,
I'm
not feeling it. Maybe that there's something happening, and then this weekend pops up, and I think it was on Tuesday, he's like, Rudy, can you play? So I was like, I'll let you know by 6.
Okay.
Because we finished work at 4, and I was like, by 6 o'clock, I'm sure I'm gonna sum up the bravery to ask between 4 and 6 to ask her, is it okay that I play?
Can I?
And then I think you also try beat around the bush. You're like, no, my love, we've got something for my dad's birthday. It's this weekend. Is that on Saturday or Sunday? And then
it's on Saturday.
And then she goes, it's on Sunday. Why? And then she doesn't say why and then wait for me to answer. She goes, why are you playing cricket? And you're like, and then the first thing is you give her the smile and go, is it okay?
Can I?
And so, so it was, she said okay. So this weekend I'm playing cricket again.
But it becomes too much as well, because now I get it, right? My wife is like, I get it that you want to play. And, once you're on the field, it takes you, it just removes that another sphere of you. So if you're going to play on Saturday, you're like, the endorphins are just running dry. Can I play on Sunday? No, you're not playing both days. You have to choose one.
I think that's where we're different. I've got all the eagerness to want to play.
Okay.
Prior.
Until the day.
And then I rock up. We're not batting. It's fine. Because I love batting.
Obviously.
I've always sort of been a batsman, if you can call it. But then I'm like, I've got to take the field.
I still feel
I've got to keep for 20 overs.
Hit.
So that, I think my regret hits pretty quickly as well. So that's why the outdoor cricket did take a step back.
But then you're better, because remember I still coach juniors on a Saturday, and juniors finishes at 11:30. So in as much as we're starting at 1, I promise you at 11:15, I'm like, crap, did I say I'm available?
This was a bad idea. This was a bad idea.
Because I've been in the sun all morning and I'm already tired, and I'm thinking, so you're still going to have to sit down for another 35. Like, come on. We come back to, it's amazing how when we get married, we become their kids. The fact that I have to ask a bit about the bush, because even when I want to buy myself a set of new shoes, I'm thinking, okay, babes, we've got food in the house. And there's a little bit of extra cash, and I was thinking, can I get myself a pair of shoes? It's not something that you need to be scared to ask. Why do we get scared?
Wait, it's not even fear. You've got, it's what I call this is low-end fear.
Okay.
Wait until you start playing golf.
Oh,
Then
and the stuff is expensive.
Then it becomes high-end fear.
Yeah.
Because it's not 300-400 rand for the day at the club, and you've already got the kit.
Yeah.
With golf, I mean, when you start playing golf, you're really bad.
You're screwed up, yeah.
The golf balls are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So never mind, you're gonna need about 5,000 golf balls for your first.
Because you're gonna lose them.
You're gonna lose all of them.
Yeah.
And then it's okay. You start getting decent, and then you start not spending that much on the golf balls, and you're like, well, I haven't spent that much. The rounds only cost me 600-700 or 800 rand, and then you go, but I really think I could hit the ball a little bit further if I had this club. So it makes the pros better.
Exactly. Now I need to change
and
my
then
club.
and then you go into your wife. You're not saying, can I spend 1,000, 2,000 rand on a pair of nice cricket shoes? You're going, I need to spend around 15, 20,
like, are you crazy?
30,000 on some golf clubs.
Are
But
you
I mean, it'll
mad?
last 5 years.
Are you mad?
So,
but it will last.
It lasts in 5 years, and it doesn't.
It never does.
No, because
does.
you always want something better, and I think that's the sportsman in everyone. We go, the first thing we blame is equipment.
Obviously,
it's never us.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if I don't
the
score
bed that I'm
runs,
using now, the toe end is no longer good. But I saw the new one, Jesus, 10 grand. Like 10 what? For a what? You mad? Like, yeah. Tougher.
Yeah.
Tough being a man.
Yeah.
But these women never understand these things. The stuff that we go through. It's mentally daunting, but
I think it's an outlet. And I think that's something that I realized, especially with COVID, is we need an outlet. If you're a natural sportsman, you don't have to be a professional. But if you've relied on some sort of activity, physical activity, where it's not just going out there and playing the sport, it's the socializing, it's the like the social aspect, it's a passion, whether it's in cricket, action cricket, golf for me. It's an outlet that we have to have. It came to a point where Kaylee was telling me there'll be like times, school holidays that we're off or whatever. She's like, you're so grumpy. And I'm like, why? She goes, you really need to go play some cricket or go play golf.
Go, exactly.
So I think now I found it out that I need to act grumpy.
Oh, wow.
And then I get to play golf.
I hope your wife is not watching this, but because you're screwed, bro. You just screwed yourself. You just shot yourself in the foot right now, but
I'll apologize. I'll apologize.
Yeah, but you're right, because there was a time that I could not find time to play weekends, because literally I was working 7 days, Sunday to Sunday. I couldn't even go to church, and I have to find somewhere where I can play some sort of sport. That's why I ended up joining an indoor team. And how I did it was I was coaching one of the kids, and the mom was like, "Geez, I need to go to the action cricket Martin is playing." I'm like, "Wow, what does he play?" Like indoor cricket. Like, oh wow. It's like, do you want to play? It's like, yeah, sure. It's a Thursday, but I have to come and ask her now. And I'm thinking, okay, it's a Thursday. I finish at 6. I'm gonna start playing cricket at 6:30 or 7:40. How am I gonna tell her? That's another thing. And luckily, she's like, yeah, sure, let's go together. Like, great. So it became a Thursday kind of thing, and we're buying pizza at the Four. Yeah, it's amazing pizza. They're like, yeah, that's our dinner. So it works out.
Good food.
Exactly. Yeah, it works out. And it's been good. It's been really good. And I get what you're saying, that you become so grumpy. And we need that social aspect as gents, whereby, they have fines, they have a beer, have 2 beers, or whatever. And from there, you wake up the next day, you saw here and there, but you're enjoying it. That's amazing. How tough was how mentally tough was lockdown for you? What changed in lockdown? Because a lot of people said, for relationships that were solid, they became even more. For the ones that were shaky, they were never the same.
Okay, so a lot of people I've spoken to when it comes to lockdown is it was horrible. Okay, mine was amazing, and there's 2 reasons why it was amazing. First one, about I want to say a couple of weeks before lockdown hit. I know it was around the 20th of March.
Yeah.
We had announced that we were pregnant.
Wow.
So now my wife's pregnant. I mean, we did it at the school, so it was a big thing because the kids at our school, Mrs. Parry and Mr. Parry work at school. So,
Wow.
you know, it was always, you know, you guys are married now. When's
Oh,
the baby
wait,
go?
oh, I
So we
see,
always
I
gave
see.
them a little, a hint, and I can't remember the poster, but it was something about a green light or something. And kids were all lined up at a after break assembly, and we showed this poster, and I want to say it was a green light, and there was a picture of the baby, and then you could see a few of the learners were like, "What's going on here? This is weird. What are these teachers acting?"
Weird, exactly.
And then it took one child to click, and they're like, "Mrs. Parry's pregnant."
Oh wow!
And then there was just a stampede.
Oh,
so it was really amazing.
Wow.
So that was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So we told them, and I think for us being teachers and being in a school, you don't just have one child. I mean,
Everyone is a child,
I mean,
yes,
you do. You form such bonds with the learners, and yeah. So when that hit, obviously we were now into a pregnancy, and I think the uncertainty was very daunting for both of us. But I don't think any husband or partner can actually say that they spent the entire pregnancy with your wife at home.
Yeah, yeah.
So
because you're working for the most part. Yeah.
So I mean, the things during the day were the weird craving, and trying to satisfy cravings in lockdown was awesome. Absolutely loved it. Try find winter fruits in summer, and it just didn't work. But I mean, you know, it was really nice to be with Kales. Obviously, I think for her it was tough. I think as a woman, she wanted to obviously experience it with other people. You know, how's the pregnancy going? But it was all virtual, so that was, I don't think, so nice for her. But you asked me, how was it for me? It was awesome because I got to be with her.
But then, how did you manage the mood swings, and did she have mood swings? Because I don't think when my wife was pregnant she had mood swings. Did she? Did you? No, she never had mood swings.
I don't remember like any crazy mood swings. But my wife is pretty moody naturally, so I don't know if it.
But you're sleeping on the couch, you know that, right?
I've invested in a really comfy couch. It's closer to the fridge. We're good. No, she. I don't think she actually had many mood swings. It was actually a really, really, I think, easy pregnancy right up until baby actually arrived, and then there was obviously, you know, some pregnancies are smooth, some, you know, you have complications. We had a few, but baby was healthy. So awesome. At the end of the day, baby was healthy. When baby did arrive, you know, it was amazing. But it was really cool to be with her right up until. And I mean, there were certain things. I mean, you try and sneak out to at least see my parents because they were really close to us. They lived in a complex about, say, a kilometer away from us. So it was easy to sort of get in and at least let them be with us.
So you had family around.
We did. We had family around, and we also we kept in contact.
That's good.
You know, we tried to keep in contact with all the close people. We were fortunate enough to have chosen godparents for Dakota before COVID hit.
I see.
So they had obviously accepted that they were going to be godparents, which was really cool. So the things that you wanted to do, I mean, I remember it was I think the Friday night before the lockdown hit. I mean, they gave us you've got 4 more days.
Exactly.
Get your partying and whatever in.
Yeah.
And we literally had to rush the gender reveal.
Wow.
And could only invite obviously close because now you're scared.
Yeah, because now you're scared.
COVID's hit, and it's not so much that you're scared of the big, you know everything else, but you're scared of getting your pregnant wife sick.
Yes, yeah, because she's vulnerable at that point.
That can't take meds.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, that happened, and you know we revealed it was a baby girl, and then pregnancy at home. I mean, we as teachers it was a bit strange.
Because it
was learn teams within the next few hours because on Monday
you're teaching, yes.
And it was creating videos, and then there was these virtual challenges that we had to do. So that was, I think, being a teacher and obviously seeing the little kids' faces on thing, it helped with the socializing.
I see.
But as a guy, it wasn't what we experienced, the cricket, the whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's where I got into the gaming.
Oh.
So that's, I played that
and
PlayStation game.
she understood. She was fine with you.
100%.
Because the thing is, that takes time, isn't it?
It did. I mean, it was crazy because you knew, obviously, the new normal at the time was, I had a few lessons a day. And then you're going, well, I've got 6 hours free now.
What do I do with myself
so
now? Yeah.
then you're like, okay, and your mates, some of the guys are doing work that they couldn't be at work.
I see.
So they were like, well, let's start playing. And we played. And I remember there was times like over weekends you really couldn't do anything. I was 20 hours straight. You're playing.
And she's not complaining because, dude, you've been locked up in there forever.
She's a gem. I mean, she's really, really, I want to say low maintenance. I mean, you get those high maintenance ladies. She's not there.
In as much as I know that's disrespectful,
no, and
I get where you're coming from.
I mean it with the most sincerest heart. Is that, Kaylee is, if you've got a bit of time with her, and you sit with her, you talk to her, you sit and watch a show that you really don't want to watch.
I'm not really a Netflix person. If you go onto my profile right now, it's continue. It's
I'm the same. And there will be one or two series you get hooked into, and you're like, I'll watch it. And that's it. I mean, we can sit at night now.
Exactly.
And she's like, you keep scrolling through. I'm like, because there's nothing I want to watch.
Exactly. There's nothing.
But I mean, like I said, it was really easy. And I think Kales knew the social person that I was, and I still am. And
I mean, she was coming with you to cricket anyway, so
she was scoring.
Yes, she was scoring for us.
She was. I think she was the. If it was not treasurer, but she was one of the communications.
Committee members.
She was one of the committee members. She was scoring for the side.
She loved it. So when you say she was not social, it's like, well, which one?
I think it's within bubbles.
I see.
Kaylee is a bubble person.
Wow.
Where if you're not in her bubble, she's will either be really socially awkward, or completely sort of.
Or like,
So, but I mean. Again, I think it was also a time for her that maybe got her out of her space, and she became more social, and maybe that's what, in a relationship, two people bring different things to the party. She brought the stability and sort of the cool head, and I was the socialite,
you can be that socialite,
and I was able to get us to talk to people and get in new groups, and I think that we balance each other well.
Amazing how when I still remember lockdown is happening and there's always this queue when you want to buy food and tissues and whatnot. I think, like you said, you have a week to learn Teams and you're going to present on Monday. Because I still remember my son, their first class. Jeez, it was hectic. Now they're talking to each other about the new pet, the other one, look at my Lego. Hey guys, listen!
And then you're busy trying to teach. You've been teaching for 10 minutes and you got a message on it, sir, your mic's off.
Oh, come on.
And you're sitting there and you're like, and then you got that one child that knows everything about it. They're like really tech whizzy.
Okay.
And then they'll be like, sir, you haven't recorded the lesson. And you're like, really? That's what we're worrying about now. So it was interesting. It was really
I was teaching though, because that's why people always say teaching is not something that you do, it's a calling. I don't think teaching, medicine, those stuff, you can't just get in there for the money. It's a calling, right?
I think it is. I like to look at where I've gone as a sort of a river flowing, because I had no intentions of becoming a teacher.
Wow.
And I did it for a while, and I knew it was a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to be. Obviously the teaching, and then you sort of go to the coaching side, and then the goal was always to be sort of a head of sport, director of sport, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to be. So it was a stepping stone for sure. But I think anyone that works in a school, or is a therapist for children, or is a tutor for children, or somehow works with kids, there is a calling.
Right.
Because I wouldn't change it.
Right.
I mean, even if I look at the career that I want to go into, that I see myself in the next 5 years, it is away from schools. I don't necessarily want to be in schools, but I still want to have the interaction. Whether it's juniors, whether it's the sporting kids, and that's I think something that is a calling. I think you have to want to be with them. I mean, I looked at it now. I mean, I had the decision, sort of, where I was the head of sport of the entire school, and the school was growing. I mean, it's grown tremendously, and they were like, okay, we need to bring in another person to assist you. You know, where do you want to be? High school or primary school?
Wow.
And it wasn't even a second thought. I said, I want to be by the primary school.
Wow.
Because I think you lose the kids. They become young adults. And I didn't,
especially in high school, they become
they're young adults. I mean, I look at some of the boys. I mean, 16 years old. These oaks have got bigger beards than I do.
They're taller.
Everyone's taller than me. Everyone's taller than me.
Most of the boys, they're wearing size 12, 13 shoe. Like, are you mad?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
So I mean, I think yeah, you definitely have to have a calling, and I've never regretted the decision to go into the sort of area that I've gone into.
Yeah.
Yes, there's things I would have liked to have done to sort of assist me, and I go, geez, I wish I did a little bit more then. I mean, but hindsight is an amazing thing.
Wow, I love it. I can see the smile in your face as well, because, you know, when someone speaks about something, you can see the passion in their eyes. I think that's part of the stuff that makes people get the jobs. Because once you get into an interview room, it's not about your qualification, it's about you as a human.
Yeah.
And coming to that, I had Jono Lifright, CEO, and he said something so powerful. He says, I don't care about your qualifications. I want to see you as a human being. Like, humility is everything. In as much as, yes, you can bring me a stack of qualifications like this, but our interaction as humans, what brings businesses to the next level, or what brings kids to understand what needs to be done with their life and whatever the case may be. And it just dawned on me, funny story. You sent me something on last week, right? And then you asked me later on, what do you think, right? So I'm like, I had a crappy day. So I sit on the bed, I'm touching my phone, I'm trying to read. The next thing, just feel numb at my right hand. Started shaking, so I'm like to my wife, babes, I can't control. So I had a mini stroke, bro, last week. Crazy, I know, I promise you. So the phone fell. Now, literally my hand is turning, like it was turning to face me.
Jeez.
Like that, yeah. So I'm thinking, babes, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Like, what must I do? Help me!
Yeah,
you understand?
You need to be a nurse now.
Exactly. So, fine, that's not the story. So, I was reading your stuff, bro. And it's amazing how you sent me a manuscript of your book. And I'm thinking, but what's stopping you from releasing such quality? And we are in Mental Health Month. And when I started the Men podcast, that was a time when men were committing suicide. The reason why I really had to start the podcast was when Stitch passed on. Stitch from Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah. He goes out, takes a walk, goes to a hotel, then boom, that's it.
Gone,
yeah. You understand? So I was like, no, man, this is wrong. Then I had one of the boys that we played cricket with, and I'll tell you offline, his dad did the same thing.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Went into his car and boom, gone. Then Rick, same thing.
Yeah.
Then one of the other guys that was starting to play at the club, I think I was playing SU5 or something like that, did the same thing. So I'm like, no, man, gents, we cannot keep on falling like this. Something has to be done. And it made me realize that as gents, we go through a lot. But then if I come to Rudi and say, Rudi, I'm going through a crap time, Rudi is probably going to look at me and like, come on, man, don't be weak. I don't know, where do we get that perception that for us men, we cannot succumb to mental health? And we are seeing the stats are right there.
Yeah.
Things are happening. People are dying. People are killing themselves. Gents are killing themselves.
And you know what the saddest part is that at the end of the day, where you look at the generation. I mean, we look, and I work with young learners. As you look at the generation now, and you talk about, you know, I think it comes down to role models. I think the role models that they have is not the role models we had. I think it's become a little bit easier for kids to talk. But our generation, it's tough. It's tough because it was seen as weakness. If you talk about you're sad, dude, come on. I mean, and you go to a mate, and you know, in your heart, and you just want the guy to give you a hug and let's go do
Like,
something.
don't be weak.
And
man.
or they'll tell you, you'll tell you weak and give you a few bad comments, and then they'll say, then let's have a drink, and that's forgetting. That's forgetting the moment, but it always comes back. It's not dealing with it.
Yeah, and it comes back even more.
I think it hits harder. Yeah, 100%.
Even more.
And I think that's a big thing for people is finding, like you said, finding that person, people that you can talk to that get you.
Yeah.
That understand. Okay, Rudy's not okay. Rudy's fine.
Yeah.
Rudy's happy. Rudy's sad. But if you and the people that commit suicide are the people that you have no idea.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Like, jeez.
You like that? I mean, I was chatting with him on Sunday.
Yeah, I was with him and he was laughing. And,
and I think it's a big it is a big issue, and finding your person to talk to, I think, is the biggest thing in the world. And I'm very blessed that I have my person.
Wow.
And I can talk to Kaylee about absolutely anything.
How does one get to talk to their spouse about them being weak?
I think you need the person that doesn't see it as weakness.
They see it as what?
I think they see it as maturity, that you're able to talk about your feelings. I think they see it as you communicating. I think, and I know that for a fact, is when I started dating Kaylee, I struggled to talk about my feelings. Struggled to commit in the start.
Yeah.
I struggled to see the value of what I had. I mean, I nearly lost Kaylee because I was going, no, I'm so hung up on my ex, and then
no, you don't want to
and 2 weeks later I was like, no, I've got something great.
Great, yeah.
Don't be stupid,
better
Rudy.
than my ex.
Don't be stupid. Go for it.
Yeah.
Take that leap of faith, and it was the biggest blessing in the world that I did, because I've got my person. I know I can talk to her about anything, and it doesn't happen immediately. It does take fights and arguments and her telling me you don't communicate,
and a lot of women are complaining of the same thing, that gents, we don't communicate. But then at the same time, have you noticed that if you've got 5 or 6 gents that meet in a room, we can never be vulnerable with each other. Yet we say, geez, you're my best mate, man. You're my ride or die.
Yeah.
But then when we meet, we're talking about alcohol, or about sport, or about girls or sex.
100%. Yeah, I think that also was something that changed me, is finding the idea that we are, as men, or just as a person personally, not even as a man, it could be a woman feeling the same way, is that you are led as a person by your level of motivation. You are led by the situation that you are currently in, you find yourself in. You could be in a place where you've got the greatest things going for you. If you demotivated, you will never see that.
Jeez.
Others will see it. Wow. You'll never see it.
It's easy to see the negatives than it is to see the positive.
100%.
I think the person outside sees the positive. But
and motivation is one of the most powerful things, because when you're motivated, you can conquer the world. You feel it.
Yeah.
But it's also one of the weakest things, because it takes a second to break that motivation. But it takes everything to build it back up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is tough. But, I mean, I think once you understand that and find something that constantly motivates you, I think there'll be a lot of small areas in your life that you'll go, I'm motivated to do that. I'm motivated to do that. And I'm motivated to try this. But if you've got something, and becoming a parent is the easiest one.
Yeah. You're always looking at your kids.
You're always motivated.
Yeah.
Because
it's them. They need to eat. They need to be happy.
Their achievements, just their achievements alone, it keeps you motivated as a father. And you see it daily. I mean, something simple happened today at school. She's very similar to her mother. Very socially awkward, doesn't like to be...
Unless she's used to that person.
When she's used to that person,
oh,
she's an absolute clown.
Yeah.
But we enrolled her in gymnastics. Must be more than 6-7 weeks ago. And classes have happened every week.
Okay.
And the coach will come to their classroom while they're at school and says, come, let's go. And Dakota's like, nope.
I'm not going.
And you try for week 1, week 2, week 3, eventually say, please go.
Yeah.
And it was not happening.
You can't force
We
it.
had almost forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about it.
Okay.
and we get a message from her teacher sending us a video. Dakota went to gymnastics today.
Wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's an achievement.
I look at the video. I mean, she's jumping off this big block, or
man.
she's doing a roly-poly. She's doing a headstand. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's what motivates me. Is I feel like I've achieved as a father.
Definitely.
And I think you've got to find your motivation. I mean, I look at my sporting side. I was very demotivated when it came to sports and cricket, and especially post-COVID.
Yeah.
And I got a call early June, just before June, from one of the guys at the arena saying, listen, there's a Dubai World Series that's happening, and I want you to go. And I'm like, I'm
Really?
30.
Me?
I'm 30.
There's a lot of youngsters that
I feel like, and he goes, no, I want you to go. And I was like, wow. Couldn't make the cut, when I was playing cricket.
When I could play,
but you make it now. And I went, okay, cool. And I took it on. And now it was daunting.
Wow.
Daunting. Very, very scary. And I then went there, played, I think I can't remember if the first game was India or Singapore. Played the game and came out with a positive contribution. And I was like,
oh, okay.
I can
do this. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our team didn't do too great, but I mean, I looked at my personal performances and coaches and selections. You go, okay. I mean, as a player, if you're not selected, you haven't performed, or you're not the right mix.
Yeah.
I didn't miss a game.
You played every game.
I played every game.
Wow.
And that said something to me, because I mean, I was one of the last sort of call-ins to play.
So you didn't expect, probably you're going to play 1 or 2 games.
And I would have been happy with that.
And I mean, so still okay.
You're experiencing something different. Most people are never.
It's just like saying, okay, I'm going to play 1, then the next one I'm 12th man. It's fine.
Every game.
Yeah.
I played every game. And things like that. I mean, it's finding those small things, and that's a small motivator. That can't be your everything. I look at, I think you just say count your blessings.
Yeah.
I look at, I've got a lovely car. I've got a lovely house I live in. I've got a family that lives in the house.
Yeah.
The lifestyle I do is wonderful. I work a kilometer away.
I'm close, yeah.
From the house.
So I don't have traffic. I don't have to sit in traffic for
those
half an hour.
Those are blessings, and if you use those blessings as motivators, you stay motivated.
But do you know that there's someone out there that has, and I think that's part of the reason why as gents we struggle to then speak, because the moment I then come to Rudi and say, Rudi, I'm in a dark pit, you're gonna say, but you've got a house, you've got a car, you've got a family that loves you. I get that. I get that. Yes, I've got a great job. Yes, I'm driving the best car. Yes, my children are excelling in school. They're passing and whatever the case may be. But I'm in a deep hole.
I think it's finding the cause, not necessarily identifying the motivators there. I mean, you can find that. Any person can be like that and go, okay, you've got the greatest house. You loaded,
so
you got a gorgeous wife.
Why would you come to me and say you're depressed?
I think when it comes to someone like that, or any person you're genuinely talking to, I think it's first trying to identify, understand, and work through what is actually demotivating you first. Before you can start being motivated. I think it's it's like everything. I mean, you look at
reverse psychology, kind of.
You've got to look at it as a sort of a step of going, okay, I need to first, like you said, recover from the addiction, or understand the addiction. Am I addicted? Before I can recover.
I can look for solutions, whatever.
And I think that's important. I think it's really important to do that. And it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, you read the book that I started to write, and that was something that I never meant to start writing.
Jeez.
That actually started when I was actually in a really dark place. Not a good place.
Not a good place.
I was having a tough time at work, and I decided, I want to get my feelings out. Couldn't talk to someone, so I said, I'm going to try and put my feelings down. Wow. And I didn't want to say, dear diary, today I'm depressed.
Today I'm sad.
It was what is something I can talk about, express, that's going to help me feel better. And it was talking about the journey.
Okay.
And I think everyone needs to know their journey, Because I think the easiest way to stay motivated is to simply look behind you. If you look where you've come from, you can see the ground you've covered.
It's amazing how you say that, and a lot of times, like we said earlier, it's easier for you to look at the negative than it is to the positive.
100%.
And I always say, even in the cricket field, where one needs a cover drive through covers to feel that, you know what, today is the day. Every other time, maybe they're mistiming the drive, but they're playing the cut nicely. Or you're mistiming the cut, but then the glance or whatever it's playing, it's working out and you're scoring the runs. Instead of you focusing on that one that's not working, let's focus on the positive. There's always positive
Or the
around.
3 short balls that you've got out of the way properly
Exactly.
that have got the 2 openers out.
Good.
You've avoided them.
You
survived the opening spell.
Yeah.
You know, you survived the new ball. Yeah, and it's easy. I mean, it's like I said, it's easy to fall into that negative, we call it the cesspool of negativity. It's easy to fall into it, and it's so hard to get out. But yet, if we had the people around us and someone to talk to, or way of just expressing, getting it out. I think as a man, it's really hard to get it out and talk about how am I going to make myself feel better. Because as men, we are feel good people.
Yes.
If we feel good, or if we feel that everything's okay, everything's
okay.
But it takes the smallest thing to put us in a dip.
And also the mere fact that as a man, I'm supposed to be providing. So I can't come home and be sad because I need to be out there making sure that I hustle and get money,
100%.
I get food, I get this. So I don't have time to be sad. I don't have time to feel weak. I think it's good and it's bad. Because in as much as I can say, today I'm not feeling like waking up, dude, kids still need to eat. Your child is never going to say, dad is not feeling okay today, so we're not going to have lunch. No, they don't care. I think it hails from that as well. And we really can't blame the man for not being able to speak because men become so busy. I think after lockdown, everyone is just trying to sort of pick up the pieces, and it's really tough. And when I see men come forward saying, you know what, bro, I'm not okay. I was actually talking to a mate today, and she's going through, you know, when they say it doesn't rain, it pours. Proper. Mate is working for a good company. They're taking good care of him, but he does everything on his own, from HR to hiring to making sure that he balances the books. Literally everything. Is running the whole factory alone. And he's like, no, but I'm tired.
He's running himself
tired.
out.
Exactly. Like he's running flat.
He's burnt himself out.
Yes, he's burnt out.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he's like, even if I leave the job, I'm 45 years old. Where am I gonna get?
Where are you gonna find a place to work?
I've got 3 kids. How am I gonna take care of my children?
Yeah.
My wife is not working. I still need to pay the school fees. The bond. Apparently, he's got 2 bonds. And like, what do I do? But you can see that the brother is exhausted, and it's so sad that it's sad. But at the same time, I feel blessed that another brother can actually come to me and say, mate, and not that I'm going to give you 100,000 and say, you know, you need to relax. I don't even have that. You understand? But to just have someone that's saying, just let out.
I think it takes a person, and it's a lot of the time it's completely unintentional. The right person, the right time. I think we all go through a journey. I think it's right person, right time to puts his hand on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And says, that's what happened with me. It was a simple person saying to me, and I mean, I've got a lot of goals, I've got a lot of aspirations, I've got a lot of ambition to do certain things and go forward, and it's never changed. I've always wanted that, you know. I think it's good to want more. I think we need to be realistic as well and have patience, and that was something I had to learn, is to have patience. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust the process and understand the process that we're not as good as we always think we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always someone
You're going to mess up.
And there's always someone better than...
Accept that you've messed up and learn from it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a friend of mine that actually spoke to me, and, you know, I was also not a great place. Cricket wasn't going well. You know, I felt like I was sort of plateauing where I was in the career that I was at, or it was at a school that I was at. I wasn't happy with the people that I was working with, and someone, he pulled me aside. It was actually my best mate at the time. And he said, just imagine everything you've done as a road. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, now stop He says, there's fog ahead of you. There's fog in the front of you. So you can't see anything. He says, but look behind you. Check your GPS. Look at the road you've traveled to get here.
Jeez.
And immediately I was like, yeah.
Wow, I've come so far.
I've come far.
Yeah.
But
you don't see it because you're always looking at the
fog. So hard when
it's
so hard when you're trying to look forward and you're trying to sort of imagine yourself there. You forget about where you've been.
But you're not appreciating where you're coming from.
The small victories. And that's another thing is, celebrate the small victories. I think that's the biggest thing.
It's really tough for us to applaud ourselves. 100%. Just to say, well done. Well done that you're alive today. Well done that you made it through the day. Or you woke up. Wow.
I mean,
good on you to get out of bed.
Seeking recognition or, looking for that well done or whatever it is. Sometimes you go, there are people you work with and you're like, geez, you just love the spotlight. You're like, you just want the spotlight. But I think sometimes it's needed. For certain people, it's needed.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those that always needs that sort of, well done, Rudi. You did great today.
Yeah. No, I mean to say, you're telling yourself, well 100%. Done. Yeah. Well done has that you still came back and you did what you needed to do.
I think but getting into that place where you can do that, some people aren't, and a lot of men aren't.
Yeah.
Because they're not in that place to actually and go, I've done okay.
Yeah.
I've done well.
Yeah. Well done.
High five.
Yes.
High five to myself.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is that as providers, we don't reward ourselves.
We don't.
I think it's a big thing. We don't reward ourselves.
I think that's one thing that my wife has been so intentional as well. That no, dude, you need a new pair of shoes. I understand that you're working hard. I understand that things are not balancing, but you still also need something new.
Well, that's exactly
so
it.
Please,
I mean, Kaylee's done it a few times. We'll be chatting, and then I'll say to I'd love to get this, and she goes, you know that you work every month.
Yeah.
You earn money. It is your money too. And if you want to reward yourself for playing a round of golf or playing 2 rounds of golf.
But we get so guilty that if I'm going to spend $1,000 for myself, that $1,000 could be going towards groceries.
100%.
For them.
And
it's not being selfish, it's being selfless. But at the same time, you also need to applaud yourself and say, I think we've worked hard. I deserve this.
Do we, as men, take a second guess to if you're out with your missus?
Never.
And she wants this
anytime.
And you want it. You'll do it.
If I've got the cash,
if you've got the ability to do it, we do it.
You do it, yes.
Okay. Woman, and I speak for my wife. I know she wants me to do the same thing for myself. Is she hates me spending money? That's what I said. She hates me spending money on her.
Yeah.
She'll be like, no, it doesn't matter. Get yourself.
Yes, yeah.
And she is amazing, but obviously they appreciate it, and that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Because
it makes you feel good as well
100%.
When you get into a shop and you think, oh, okay, that pair of shoes will be nice for her.
100%.
That's thinking of me in my absence. That's really good. But we never think of ourselves in our presence.
And I think that's again, you as a person, you've got to go, okay, where am I at? Okay, I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I'm extremely passionate about the area of work that I'm in. That counts for a lot. Because I don't think, I know so many people that are, and it's not necessarily that it's a dead-end job. There's a possibility of making huge money.
Yeah.
But if that's just the end goal,
what's
that's
the point?
why I can see why you're depressed.
Yeah. Because that's the end. So afterwards, then what?
Exactly.
Then what?
You've got loads of money.
Yeah. Then what?
Where's the happiness?
Then what?
I think and it's realizing where you want to be and reality and like that the idea of your passion, trying to make sure that it becomes a reality, and making sure that yes, that's the end goal or that's where you want to be, but being realistic about it. Because if you set the bar too high, when you don't make it, you're going to be really upset.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hard on yourself.
How then does one draw the line? Where is reality and where is lack of motivation? Or where is, yes, I want to be that person, but then I feel like I'm toiling, I'm working so hard and it's not happening. Do I get to a point where I'm like, nah, I think this is not my thing?
I think 2 things need to happen. 1, you have to genuinely look is the goal realistic?
Okay. What's a realistic goal? Because someone can say,
I think it's understanding who you are, and you'll know. I had the aspirations. I would have loved to play cricket professionally, and I think a lot of us would have.
Yes.
I mean, I go and score 100 at Randburg. I'm like, I'm going to play for the Proteas tomorrow.
I'm going.
You know,
yes,
and
yeah.
I think, is it realistic? In my mind, I knew, I was like, yes, but even in that 100 I scored,
Exactly.
I struggled with that short puts or I struggled with the spinner.
I mistimed this, yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's, you have to look at something as genuinely as possible. You got to look at it as if this is that goal, is that aspiration something that I can honestly say in my heart, look myself in the mirror and say, that's achievable.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of any achievement. It means maybe that was something that was not realistic.
Yeah.
And it's not, that doesn't make you a failure.
I think that's the thing, yeah.
I think
we
it doesn't
feel
make
like
you a
if I
failure.
don't get to my goal, then I'm a failure. Yeah.
I think it makes you mature. I think it's a sign of maturity, and it's you understand yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you go, okay, I might not be able to achieve that, but I've come so far. I've learned so much that this has maybe pushed me in a direction where I could go.
Could go. That's why they say it's never failure, it's lesson learned.
100%.
So I learned 1, 2, and 3 in the journey. I learned patience.
And
that's important.
The second thing, I think, when you have a goal, if you've ticked the first box saying this goal is actually achievable, going before you've actually started to go for that goal, understand there's going to be hurdles. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be crossroads where you go, I can't go forward. I've got to go a little bit backwards to go forwards again. Understanding that.
Yeah, because a lot of times one will keep on forcing, like in a scrum, just keep on pushing.
You keep on pushing, and I understand the ball's got to go back for it to go forward again.
Yes,
you know, and understanding that process and trusting that process is everything has a time frame, and I think I take that back to my beliefs, and I look at where when God says, when people plan, God laughs. Because it's not your time.
It's not exactly.
It's not your time.
Exactly.
It's in His time. And whatever faith you follow and whatever you believe, I think the idea is the same, that whatever time we feel that we need to have achieved this by, I think it's so unrealistic when people tell you in an interview, what is your goal for 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Well, I'd like to be a millionaire. I'd like to drive a Ferrari, but is it realistic? No. I think it's, going, okay, cool. This is what I'd like to achieve. Realistic goal, realistic things, or trying to achieve that, and giving yourself, I think, mini goals, which is something that worked for me.
Mini goals works, yeah.
Mini goals works, and there's an end goal.
But those little.
Do you know that? I know for a fact that the mini goals you set, by the time you're close to achieving that big goal, it's not that big anymore.
It's a mini, yeah. It's part of the.
It's just another hurdle.
Yes, it's a hurdle again.
Because you've come so far.
But we look at the bigger mountain and like, geez, I want to get on top, forgetting that chip it away.
Yeah. I mean, you've climbed this far, and I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. I love that. And I once posted a video, and I said, in as much as you can say that this day is screwed at 8 o'clock in the morning, just because the coffee machine wasn't working, or the traffic light wasn't working, or the car did not start, or you were late at work.
Someone cut you off in
traffic. Cut you off in traffic, or a taxi driver, whatever the case may be. Always split your day into quarters. So if it's 8 to 10, that 2 hours was screwed up, but I'm going to make sure that the 10 to 12 is better than the 8 to 10. And you're going to realize at the end of the day, it was not as bad. Because one thing I've realized is the moment you wake up late, probably the alarm did not go off and everything is haphazard, it's a rush and whatnot, you're going to find out that to get out of the house is going to be tough. Maybe you're going to bend that shirt or that blouse, whatever that you wanted to wear because the iron was too hot or whatever. Now that's screwed up, you need to find something else to wear. By the time you get to the office, you're like, God damn it, can this day just end? guess what? There's a client that's coming in and that's going to screw you up.
Yeah.
And it's going to pile up and pile up and pile up. By the time it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, you're like, jeez, this was a day from hell. As opposed to if you had split it up, okay, fine, this part is nonsense, but I'm going to make sure that the next part here doesn't have to be nonsense. So I like what you're saying with mini goals can still reach the bigger goal. And I was at Olivewood Estate, and they've got a billboard that said, think big and trust yourself to make it happen. When the bigger goal is there and it's a big mountain, you think, yes, am I ever going to have $1 million?
Yeah.
But you realize that the million is not the 6 zeros that are in your bank account right now, but it's those 50 rands that are keeping on every single time to become a millionaire.
And I think it's if you just keep trying, I think if you've got the mentality to just to have even a little bit of motivation to just keep trying every day, it counts for a lot. Because I've been in a good place, and I told you I've been in a good place for quite some time now, and it was about, I want to say a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I had a bad day. I woke up, I was like, I'm not okay, and drive to work. I had to go back home to fetch something, and I was like, okay, now this day is getting worse. And I never listened to the radio.
Okay, and that day you did?
I turned on the radio, and a song came on, and it's weird how this happens and how everything is meant to happen. The song "Better Days Are Coming."
Okay,
Better Days. I've heard it like a million times throughout the day. Got home, playing it now. My daughter's heard it. I see this cute little face singing it, and that became a small motivator. And like I said, having those small motivators and just those little things help you.
It could have screwed up your whole entire day, and possibly the week.
And it made it.
Yeah.
I mean, as anyone needs, you need those little things, those little pick-me-ups.
Yeah.
And that's become a little pick-me-up. I mean, I can sit in the car, and my daughter's singing that song, and now I love this.
That's amazing, exactly.
And you go,
like wow.
A little motivator, and I think it's being open to someone to listen to you. It might have been I needed to hear that radio, whether it being a higher power heard. Says Rudi needs to listen to something. He's not going to go talk to someone at work. But
and you were not, because it's one thing to feel like I'm not okay, but if you've got no reason why you're not okay, you're just going to end up chuck it under the carpet as well.
100%. And I think it's being open to hearing something. And a big part of being motivated or finding your passion, you've got to be open to listening to things. And I think that's the biggest thing for any man. And we go back to where we started about the suicide, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, they feel like they're not being heard.
But are they talking though?
They're not talking.
Because it's a different case to feel like you're not being heard when you are saying something.
Correct.
When you're quiet, it's different. Yeah.
Correct. So it's being able to say something to someone.
And trust that they will hear me.
Trust that they'll hear you. And when they start talking and you can understand, they're just letting it out. Just listen.
And we want to bring solutions. I think that's where the issue is. Just because I'm coming and venting at you, I've learned that, especially with my wife. Just because she's venting about a colleague, it doesn't mean I have to call the colleague and say, what the hell are you doing to my wife? You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm not supposed to give her solutions as well.
No.
Just listen. Yeah, this
100%.
one did this one called me to the meeting. Okay, love.
Be angry.
Sorry.
Be angry with them.
Like, that's nonsense, man. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
No,
if I was there.
If I was there.
If I was
but
there.
inside you're like, but you're being petty. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ruth, you've been amazing. We always finish off with, and this is not the first one. We're gonna have another part, please. Cool. And I'm gonna ask your wife, please allow us to have him again here. That would be great. A wise man once said, please complete that statement.
Listen.
Jeez.
Just listen.
Just listen. Gents, just listen. Women, just listen. Wives, just listen. If you're still here, thank you so much for sticking with us for the past hour. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Sponsoring the video will be great as well. And Best Mini Removals are here for you if you want to move. Moving houses, moving apartments, those boxes, let them do it for you. Rudi has been here. Rudi is coming back. And thank you. We'll see you guys again. It's Thursday coming, and Game On is coming, and from us to you. Anything lastly to Dakota, to your wife, to your family?
I just firstly thank you for this, and I think speaking about everything today is actually a little motivator for me to just carry on. So keep grafting.
Wow.
That's it.
Thanks for me, bruh. Thank you so much. You know, when you came in here and you're like, wow, this is a good setup. That's a motivation as well. Like, oh, I'm doing something. And also the people that have been coming through and seeing men understand the concept of mental health. It's always been a prayer that, you know what, I want us to get into a room where we say, man, we are sharing. Because I was once included in a group, let's say my sister recommended the group on WhatsApp and say, no, it's men from all over the world. There were numbers from Germany, the States. But then you get in there, you're like, we're only talking about soccer and we're talking about sex and this one is sending a joke about that. So you're like, how is this a men's group where men's conference is supposed to speak about mental stuff or real issues? So it's really a blessing when I see men sitting down with me and we chatting, because that's to me has become my go-to release. Yeah. And I haven't been a grumpy man in a long time. So thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers, man.
Right to the podcast Being Men, as I learn to be a man. Understanding the time, lessons and patience inquired to be a 10. A series of compass insights of the journey for a different turn. Being men, where rivers of the mind flow to give a damn. A movement with river flows, so I be a bailer I can. All stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Right at the podcast Being Men. All stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Welcome to Being Men.